Morning to everyone. Today we will have the revision of exercise 13.1 chapter number 13 direct and inverse proportion. So as we know that direct and inverse proportions are the proportions where we are going to use in this chapter. Okay, so what do you mean by direct proportion? In direct proportion, a is x1 is to y1 is equals to x2 is to y2. Okay, so x1 upon y1 is equals to x2 upon y2. So this theory we are going to use in the direct proportion. When I will teach you the inverse proportion, at that time I will tell you about the inverse proportion formula. Okay, so here the first question of this exercise, we will have it as a revision. So first question, following are the car parking charges near a railway stations up to 4 hours rupees 60. That means for the 4 hours it required how much rupees? It required 60 rupees. Okay, and for 8 hours it requires 100 rupees. Then for 12 hours it will be 140 rupees, and for 24 hours it requires rupees 180. Now parking, check if the parking charges is a direct proportion to the parking time. That means we have to check whether the charges is direct proportion to parking time. This we have to check. Okay, that means x1 y1 is a proportion x to y2. Okay, so this we have to check. So let's see how to check. First, a table of the given information is formed as, that means above table we will create it as number of hours we will write in the one column, and in the second column we are going to write a parking charges. Okay, so as we know that from the questions, 4 hours it required 60 rupees, 8 hours is required 100 rupees, and 12 hours it requires 140 rupees, as well as for 24 hours it requires 180 rupees, isn't it? Now what we have to check, whether it is in direct proportion or not. For checking whether it is a direct proportion or not, what we have to do, we have to solve it. So the ratio of the parking charges to the respective number of hours, that is rupees hours, can be calculated as, that means 60 upon 4 is equals to 15. How it is 15? Let's see how it is 15. Charges is how much? 60 rupees upon 4, isn't it? So when it will be cancelled by the table of 2, how much it will become? It will become 4 will be goes in the table of 2 times, and 60 will goes in the table 2 times. How many? 30 times. Then again by the table of 2 will be 1 time, and 30 will be 15. That's why here we had got the answer as 15. Now next we are having the charges as 100 upon 100 is the charge, where 8 is the time. So again cancel it by the table of 2, 50, isn't it? Then again by the table of 2, 25, and 25 will goes in the table of 2. How many times? That is 12.5 times. Either we can write it in the form of a fraction, or can be writing it in the form of a decimal, that is 12.5. Clear? In the same way, if we are going to solve 140 upon 12, we will get the answer. So here 12 will be 6 times, 14 will be 70 times. Then again it will be get cancelled. How many times? 3 times, and 70 will be 35 times. So 35 upon 3 will be the answer. When we want to divide, we can divide it. We will get the answer in the form of a decimal. Okay, in the same way, when we are going to divide 180 upon 24, we will get the answer 15 upon 2. Now you have to look with the things that, since it is asked whether it is a direct proportion or not, that means when we are doing the cancellations of this, we are getting the answers as 15 upon 1, 25 upon 2, 35 upon 3, and 15 upon 2. Here no value gets matched with each other, isn't it? Here the values of the answers are not matched, so here it is a not in direct proportion. If everywhere every cancellation, if we are getting the same answer, then only it is in a direct proportion. So hence we can say that as each ratio is not same, therefore parking charges are not in a direct proportion to the parking time. So this is the solution for question number 1. Now let's see for question number 2. A mixture of paint is prepared by mixing 1 part of the red pigments with 8 parts of base in the following table. Find the part of base that needs to be added. So here part of the red pigment is given as 1, and part of the base is 8. Then in the next part of the red pigment is 4, we have to find the part of the base. Then 7 is there, 12 is there, and 20 is there. That means part of the red pigments are 1, 4, 7, 12 and 20. We have to find the part of the base, as one of the part of the base is given as 8, rest other we have to find in this question. Clear? Now let's see how to find. So here we are having as one part of the base, red pigment we are having, isn't it? We are having mixing one part of the red pigment with 8 part of the base. That means 1 by 8 we are having. Then for finding, let the base will be x or x1 or anything, any alphabet we will consider. So that will be how much? 4 by x. Now while doing the cross multiplication, 1 into x will be x itself. 4 into 8 will be how much? No, not like that. This way. Let's see the solutions in this. Yes, of course, we will consider it as x1, x2, x3 and x4. As I told you above, in the same way we have to consider it. Okay. Now, as we are having part of the base is how much? Base upon red pigment. Okay. So, part of the base is 8 upon 1. Part of the base is x1 and part of the red pigment we are having 4. So, doing the cross multiplication, 8 into 4 will be the value of x1. So, 8 into 4 will be 32. As we did the above, in the same way we are going to do cross multiplication, so that we will get the answer for x1, that is 32. Okay. In the same way, for the next, what we are having? 1 upon, not 1 upon 8, base upon red pigment, that is 8 upon 1 is equals to 7 upon x2. Okay. So, we will get cross multiplied it, isn't it? How to cross multiply the number? That is x2 upon 7 is equals to 8 upon 1. So, x2 is equals to 8 into 7, that will be 56. Not 36, it will be 56. In the same way, we can do the rest other part. Okay. When we have 4 into 8, 32, 7 into 8 is 56, 8 into 12 is 96, 8 into 20 is 160. In the same way, we will get the answer for this, for just by doing the cross multiplications of these. So, have you understood up to here? Question number 2. Okay, now let's see question number 3. In the question number 2 above, if one part of the red pigment requires 75 ml of base, how much red pigment should be mixed with 1800 ml of base? So here we are having in the form of ml, milliliter. Okay, so let's see the milliliter over here. Okay, since the red pigment we are having 1, and if one part of the red pigment requires the part of the base as 75, then if part of the base is 1800, we have to find the part of the red pigment. So we will consider the part of the red pigment as x. Clear? Now let's do the cross multiplication, as the direct inverse is what? x1 is to y1 proportion x2 is to y2. So when we are having the cross multiplication, 1 upon 75 is equals to x upon 1800. Okay, so do the cross multiplication. 75 into x is equals to 1800. Then x is equals to 1800 upon 75. We will get the required answer as 24. So in this way you have to solve the question number 3. Clear? So what is direct proportion we are having? Direct proportion is x1 is to y1 proportion x2 is to y2. So proportion, that means 4 dots, it means what is equals to, isn't it? So x1 is to y1 is equals to x2 is to y2. As the ratio is a is to b, that can be written in the form of fraction, that is a upon b. So x1 upon y1 is equals to x2 upon y.